Next, we're going to do 2 minutes each, starting with Scott. One of the basic jobs of a school board member is to hire and fire the superintendent. How should a superintendent be evaluated?
Our superintendent is evaluated at every single board meeting that we have. I sit next to him and I sit next to him in closed session. I hear what he has to say. I have monthly meetings with him, private meetings with him too, on questions about the budget, about funding like Prop 28, about making sure that our schools, our remodernization of schools is done correctly. He's monitored on a regular basis by all the board members. First of all, by our private meetings with him, and second of all, at our discussions in closed sessions. It's very important that our superintendent be proactive for our kids, making sure that all of our employees have fair wages, our union members have fair prevailing wages, and making sure that the parents of our kids get what they need. Now, I want you to know that one of the first things I did after our budget release was to make sure that all of our parents who are workers at school, classified workers, were restored back to their 4 hours of benefit pay. Many of our parent workers at school who have children in our schools, benefits are the most important part, sometimes even more important, believe it or not, than their actual salary, making sure that their kids and their families are eligible for benefits should they get sick. So one of my goals is to make sure that our parents have benefits, and the superintendent did give $30 million more to our local schools to make sure that we could make them whole again. Many principals unfortunately cut benefits by cutting hours for our parents because there wasn't enough money for our carryover funds. But that was changed. He listened. He did what I asked him to do. And I'm just very proud of him.
Okay,
Yeah,
Dan,
I,
2 minutes.
I, I think I think oversight is one of the most important roles that a school board member should provide. And I think on this school board in general, but I think would say in particularly in Scott's case, is we don't have anybody on the board who has a math and budget background. And it's so critical on so many issues. And let me just bring up a couple. First Scott mentions Prop 28. $30 million was returned to schools for this school year, but $30 million is owed to the schools for last year, which is where the illegal siphoning off of money happened, where Beaudry took money from our local schools. And it's the ability to know actually, that the superintendent is trying to paper over a mismanagement and fraud and abuse by saying we're going to fix the problem in the future, but we're not going to fix what happened in the past. That's something that's where it's just different between me and Scott. I would demand that $30 million, an additional $30 million is actually returned to school immediately now, because the evidence in the paper trail is clear, it's public, it happened. And just fixing in the future is not enough. And it's not enough for me, but it's, I guess, enough for Scott. And he's, like he said, he's very proud of the superintendent for fixing the problem going forward, but not for fixing the problem in the past. And, I think that's evidence of leadership that we just need a little bit better. We deserve better. Our local schools deserve better. $4 million that needs to go back to local BD3 elementary schools now, in addition to what's been done. So I wouldn't be proud of the superintendent for doing that. I would be continuing to hold the superintendent's feet to the fire, because even in the board meeting that Scott's talking about, it was very clear that the superintendent made multiple misstatements. He did sleight of hand, and Scott and his fellow school board members, because they don't have a budget background, because they don't see the shell game that's happening, they don't see where that money's going and they take it at face value. But I won't do that. I'm on to the superintendent. I'm on to some of these things that are happening in the district. Again, whether it's Prop 28 funding, whether it is the attendance fraud that I have uncovered both in my school at Madison and at several schools within Board District 3. Whole host of issues. I think the board needs a math teacher, someone who really loves the numbers and will dig in and really just gets real joy from that. It's a critical part of the oversight function. And I think especially in relation to the superintendent, it's a skill that I bring that, again, makes me happy to do, and I'd love to do it for Board District 3 and all of LA Unified.
All right, Scott, did you want to
Yeah, real quick, real quick. I'm really glad that Dan is a math person, and I'm really glad he understands the budget very much. But as the board member of Board District 3, it's more than knowing the budget and being a good math teacher. It's making sure that you visit every single one of your schools and understand the problems that each school has. And that's what you develop after years and years of being a teacher and a counselor and assistant principal. That's the most important thing. We have a gigantic budget team at Beaudry. They have to be monitored, absolutely so. But my touting will be working with kids at schools and making their lives better and their parents' lives better to our local district, Board District 3 schools. So that's my main goal. That is my main goal. Engaging the budget department of the district and making sure we take care of our kids. That's the most important thing for me.